Inner peace is not something you find, it is something you build, brick by brick, decision by decision, through a specific set of principles that most people have never been handed clearly enough to actually use. Here is what nobody in this space says directly enough. Most people are not lacking peace because their life is too hard. They are lacking peace because they are using the wrong internal architecture to process the life they already have. And no amount of meditation apps, breathing exercises, or weekend retreats will fix an architectural problem. I have studied Stoic philosophy long enough to get past the quotes and into the actual operating system underneath them. And what I found were 5 principles so specific, so structurally sound, and so rarely taught at the depth they deserve, that the first time I genuinely applied them, the way I experienced difficulty changed permanently. Not temporarily, not situationally, permanently. That is the promise of this video. And by the time you reach Principle 5, you will understand exactly why most people never get there and what it costs them every single day they do not. Stay with me through all 5, because the way they connect at the end is what most channels completely miss, and it is the part that makes the whole thing actually work. The 5 principles. 1. Peace is not the absence of chaos, it is the absence of resistance to it. This is the foundational misunderstanding that sits beneath almost every failed attempt at inner peace ever made. Most people are unconsciously waiting for their external circumstances to settle before they allow themselves to feel settled internally, waiting for the relationship to stabilize, for the finances to clear, for the uncertainty to resolve, for the noise to quiet down enough that peace finally feels justified. That moment never arrives, because there is always another layer of noise waiting behind the one that just resolved. The Stoics identified this completely. Their position was not that difficult circumstances do not matter. It was that the suffering generated by difficult circumstances is almost entirely produced not by the circumstances themselves, but by the internal resistance to the fact that they exist. The moment you stop fighting the reality of what is, not accepting it as permanent, not surrendering the desire to change it, but simply removing the resistance to the fact that it is currently real, something in the nervous system releases. That release is not passive. It is the most active thing a person can do, and it is the foundation every other principle on this list is built on. Hold this, because Principle 3 is going to show you the specific daily practice the Stoics used to maintain this foundation under maximum pressure, and it is something you can begin using before this video ends. 2. You own your interpretation, nothing else. The Stoics drew a hard line between what belongs to you and what does not. On one side, your thoughts, your responses, your values, your interpretation of events. On the other, everything else. Every source of internal disturbance that exists can be traced back to a violation of that line, to treating something outside the boundary as though it belongs inside it. Other people's opinions, external outcomes, the behavior of circumstances that were never yours to control. The practice is not to stop caring about those things. It is to stop locating your peace inside them, to build your internal stability on ground that cannot be moved by external weather because it is made of something external weather cannot reach. This is not detachment, it is precision, the clearest possible understanding of what is actually yours and what was never yours to carry. 3. The premeditation of difficulty is the architecture of resilience. This is the Stoic practice most people encounter and immediately misread as negativity. It is not negative thinking, it is strategic thinking applied to your own psychology. The practice involves regularly and deliberately imagining difficulty before it arrives, not to generate anxiety about it, but to remove the shock of it when it does. Because the version of an event that most damages inner peace is never the event itself. It is the collision between the event and the expectation that it should not be happening. When you have already walked through the difficult version in your mind, when you have already felt the weight of it, examined it, and determined that you can carry it, it loses the ability to ambush you. The event may still arrive, but it arrives into a prepared mind rather than a surprised one. And a prepared mind does not generate the same chaos that surprise does. Do not skip Principle 4. It is the one that operates most quietly in daily life and causes the most invisible damage to inner peace, because it disguises itself as something that feels completely reasonable. The need for approval is a lease on your inner state signed in someone else's name. Every time your peace depends on how someone received something you said, did, or created, you have handed the key to your internal state to a person who never agreed to hold it responsibly. The Stoics were precise about this, not because other people's responses do not matter, but because building your equilibrium on top of those responses means your peace is always one withdrawal away from collapsing. The person whose inner state is self-generated, rooted in their own values, their own standards, and their own assessment of how they conducted themselves, carries something that cannot be taken by social weather. Criticism does not destabilize them. Silence does not unsettle them. Disapproval does not reroute them. That is not arrogance. That is the most durable form of self-possession available to a human being. 5. The present moment is the only address where peace actually lives. Every disturbance to inner peace exists in one of two places: the past, where regret generates its weight, or the future, where anticipation generates its anxiety. Neither of those places is real in the only sense that matters for peace. You cannot act in the past, you cannot live in the future. And a mind that is perpetually displaced from the only moment it actually occupies will never find stillness, because stillness only exists in the present, and the mind is never there long enough to feel it. The Stoic practice is not to stop planning or stop reflecting. It is to return repeatedly to the single available moment, to the one address where action is possible, where sensation is real, and where peace, when it exists at all, actually lives. These 5 principles are not independent, they are a sequence. You cannot build Principle 2 without the foundation of Principle 1. You cannot sustain Principle 3 without the clarity of Principle 2. Principles 4 and 5 are the daily application of everything the first 3 built. They are not 5 separate tools, they are one architecture. And the reason most people encounter Stoic ideas without experiencing Stoic peace is that they adopt individual principles without understanding how the structure between them is what makes them work. That structure is what the rational soul exists to build with you. The next video goes directly into the daily practice that holds all 5 of these principles active simultaneously, not as a discipline you have to force, but as a natural operating state that becomes the default the longer you build it. Most channels hand you the list, the rational soul hands you the building. Subscribe to the Rational Soul. Turn on every notification. Do not miss the next one. Inner peace is not a destination you arrive at once and keep forever. It is a standard of internal architecture you build until it becomes who you are.